What's going on, guys? FlameHorizon here, coming at you with the draft analysis for the Universal Association of Pokemon Battlers. This is a draft league that I have started personally. I got quite a few good people in here that I've found, and uploads for this league will be every Saturday for all teams. Not sure what time they're going to be uploading, but it will be every Saturday, starting May 13th. So you can be expecting that to come. But we'll get right into it. We're going to go over the team that I have drafted for this, and you'll see the methodical planning that I have put into it. So I was pick 7 out of 12. It's a 12-man league. And the first pick I had to scoop up because it was there was Infernape. Infernape to me is definitely one of the most versatile Pokemon in the league, and as a round 1 pick I definitely thought it was worth the round 1 pick, because if I didn't pick it, someone else would have. And it just can do a number of sets. It can be physical, it can be special, it can be Scarf, it can be a suicide lead, it can just do a whole number of things. And I just can't wait to use Infernape in this league. Now, normally, when I pick Infernape, there's a certain partner I always like to get with it, and I was able to get that partner. That partner is Rotom Wash. This creates a good, versatile Volt-Turn core between the two. It allows Infernape to U-turn and then, as like Rotom does, Volt switch, and so that way they can just keep switching back and forth, creating momentum for myself. And it's also the start of a nice fire, water, and grass core. And with the bulk in Rotom and the offense in Infernape to complete my fire, water, grass core in round 3 of the draft, I decided to pick up Tangrowth. Tangrowth is arguably the best Pokemon, the best grass Pokemon in the draft league format, because it is really bulky, has insane coverage, and has Regenerator, which is just overpowered. And combined with a Volt-Turn core, a Regenerator Mon fits in quite well. To me, this is a pretty solid Fire, Water, Grass core, and they cover each other's weaknesses. Since Infernape's weak to Ground, both of them cover Ground. Since Tangrowth resists and Rotom has Levitate. It's just a really good core in my opinion, and I really can't wait to see how it goes. And then round 4 rolls around, and I'm looking through the tiers, I'm looking through Pokemon, and I realized a round 1 pick, what should have been a round 1 pick, I was able to scoop up in round 4, and that Pokemon was Salamence. Now, Salamence is just a monster. It can run like physical, it can run special, it can do Flying in Supersonic Sky Strike. This is my Z-Mon, by the way, my Z-Move-Mon. We're allowed 1 Z-Move-Mon, and I had to pick Salamence as soon as I got it. I was planning on Infernape, but as soon as I saw Salamence open, I had to grab it. It is my favorite dragon type by far, and I just can't wait to use it, especially with this team that I'm developing. It's probably the best team I've ever drafted personally, and the way it's set up, I just love every part of it. Especially just these 4 alone are going to put in so much work. Round 5 rolls around, and then I realized like another Pokemon that should have been drafted probably around round 3 was still there, and that Pokemon was Nidoqueen. Now Nidoqueen is definitely like really bulky compared to its counterpart Nidoking, and still Sheer Force Life Orb. Life Orb does a heck of a lot of damage with Sludge Wave and Ice Beam and Flamethrower and Thunderbolt. Just insane coverage, can do a lot, can set up Stealth Rocks, can set up Toxic Spikes, and is overall just like a really good Mon in the draft league format. Definitely one of the best, and as a tier 3 pick, it was definitely worth it. Up next, I knew I needed some hazard removal, and I didn't want to dip too low, so I got Braviary as a tier 4 pick for a Defogger. And I also needed Bird Spam because Mega Venusaur kind of wrecks the team, other than Corkscrew Crash Fly, but that's kind of predictable. Or not Corkscrew Crash, Supersonic Sky Strike. So I drafted Braviary for the Brave Bird Spam for Bulk Up. Bulk Up set's really nice. It has Defog. It's basically utility for me to have, and it's a normal type, so nobody can just spam Shadow Ball against me. And then for round 7, I was going through and looking through what was going on, and I decided to pick up Claydol. Now, I needed a spinner, and this was one of the last spinners available that I could draft with the points I had. So I decided to pick up Claydol, and it resists Stealth Rock and is immune to all the other hazards, so that's why it's good. Light Screen and Reflect can be a screen setup, so that way I can send in Salamence and Dragon Dance. And personally, Claydol's like underwhelming, but it fills its role pretty well. I can't wait to use it. It'll probably do really well if I pair it up with the team correctly. And it's just, the team is starting to come together right around here. Everything's starting to fit together. I realized after this pick, though, that I have my Fire Water Grass core, but I need to finish off the Dragon Fairy Steel core. So I went up and grabbed Florges. Florges I've seen in another league get a 5-0 with Florges, just because it's so bulky, nothing can kill it. So I can't wait to use Florges to its full advantage, to its full potential, and paired up with the last Pokemon in my Dragon Fairy Steel core, it should do wonders. Because the next Pokemon in that, it happens to be Bronzong. Bronzong paired with the other two just does really well. It's another Stealth Rocker, so Stealth Rocks don't have to rely on Claydol or Infernape or Nidoqueen. And with Levitate, it can resist ground moves, avoiding Mold Breaker. It is kind of knockoff fodder, or it takes a lot of damage from knockoffs, so I could run Colderberry some weeks. And Bronzong also hits pretty hard with the Gyro Ball. It can also set up screens, and also has good suicide lead with Explosion. So I can't wait to use Bronzong. I've never used it in a league. And like, I'm right here, my team was just kind of set. Except for the Mega, which I actually picked up a little earlier, but I'm not going to spoil that now. And then the final pick that I had was Regice, and I realized, I kind of needed an Ice type for coverage, and I needed some good special bulk, because if you look at my team, it's not really like specially bulky. There's, of course, Florges, but there's mainly physically bulky Pokemon, like Tangrowth, like Rotom, like Nidoqueen. So I needed something else that could take a little bit of the weight off of Florges, and I needed something that could hit pretty hard with an Ice-type move. And Regice was just kind of sitting there, so I thought it would be nice to pick it up. And finally, to move on to the Mega Pokemon, which is basically the captain, a Pokemon I have never used in the Draft League format, and have always wanted to use because it can be physical, it can be special, it can be Swords Dance, it can be basically whatever I need it to be. And that Pokemon is Mega Absol. As I just said, like, I think it has Fire Blast, it gets Ice Beam, it gets Thunderbolt, it gets Sludge Bomb, maybe. No, it doesn't. Houndoom gets Sludge Bomb. I get those two mixed up sometimes, moveset wise. But this thing is just a monster. The Swords Dance set can run like Mega Horn, Super Power, Play Rough. It's a good Pursuit Trapper. It's got a really powerful knockoff. It can run Sucker Punch. This thing is just a monster if you're not adequately prepared for it. Base, I think it's like 140 attack and 115 speed. This thing is just going to be hitting like a truck, and I can't wait to use this team. And that, my friends, is the draft for the UAPB for the Minnesota Monfernos. If you guys are hyped for a new season of the Draft League, be sure to smash that like button, and if you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you all for watching this, and take care.